responded affirmatively. The words slipped out unplanned, breathless. And as soon as I caught his gaze, so tranquil, so resolute, the ground beneath me seemed to quiver. He was merely 27, scarcely older than my youngest son. Yet in that fleeting moment, amidst the hush following his query and my response, I forgot everything. The burdensome weight of my divorce, the gossiping congregation members, the mirror that reflected back to me each morning the toll time had taken. He was just my masseuse, a youthful man with gentle hands and quiet eyes. Until the day he leaned nearer, fixed his gaze upon mine, and inquired about something no man had dared to ask for years. And I said yes. But I did not realize the price that affirmative reply would exact. I did not comprehend it would undo everything I believed I had reconstructed. Before proceeding further, I'd like to express my gratitude to each and every one of you following this narrative. To our exceptional subscribers, thank you for standing by us. You truly sustain us. If you're new or just visiting for the first time, thank you for being here. I encourage you to click that subscribe button immediately. Your support means far more than you realize. It powers every story we bring you. Please don't forget to like, comment, or share your thoughts. Spread this with someone who appreciates compelling true life stories. Now let me share how it all started. It began with pain, not just the physical kind in my back. I am Melinda, a resident of Billings, Montana. At 53 years old, I was hanging on by a thread when I stepped into that wellness spa. My divorce had left me drained, ending our 30-year union. I felt forgotten, unloved, as if I'd aged out of notice. I didn't go there for comfort. I sought relief for my painful shoulder and disrupted sleep. It was there that I encountered Gordon. He entered the treatment room, exuding a serene energy beyond his years. He seemed more suited for flirting with girls on Instagram rather than easing tension from elderly women's joints. Yet, when he touched my shoulders, something unusual transpired. It wasn't merely relief I felt. It was the sensation of being understood. "You're under too much stress," he whispered gently. "You bear pain as if it's your duty." I chuckled, a weary, exhausted laugh. Indeed, it often felt that way. During our initial session, I believed his considerate behavior was merely professional courtesy. But as weeks passed, I noticed subtle details. His recollection of minor particularities, my preferred tea, my sleeping position on the right side, my dislike for jazz music, the adjustment of the room temperature before my arrival, and his tender yet insightful touches. I convinced myself it was all in my mind until one Thursday evening. He asked if I wished to stay behind. "Just to chat," he said. "I can tell you're enduring more than physical suffering." I should have declined, but instead, I remained seated on the cushioned table, huddled like a jittery schoolgirl. I heard him discuss his childhood, his parents' strained marriage, and how he honed the skill of interpreting emotions through touch. For the first time in a while, someone genuinely inquired, "How are you truly feeling, Melinda?" I shared honestly with him. Everything. That night, I had a dream about him. Not in an inappropriate manner, just soothing and present. It unsettled me. At our next meeting, I kept my distance, being brisk, formal, even cold. However, as I prepared to leave, he encroached upon my personal space and said something that left me breathless. "What if you gave a chance to someone younger?" I stood still, stunned. His words lingered like smoke in the air, soft, threatening, intangible. "What if you gave a chance to someone younger?" he had suggested. I chuckled, not out of humor, but to hear my own voice as a reminder that this was reality. "You are 27, I said, averting my gaze. "And you are 53, he countered, unwavering. "So what?" That query lingered with me that evening. I spent a considerable amount of time studying my reflection. Each line on my face seemed to amplify, every crease, each gray strand. I counted them as if they were transgressions. Yet, I also recalled the vitality I felt when he listened to me, never making me feel aged or shattered. He simply saw me. The subsequent sessions were cautious and tense. He didn't raise the issue again, but his eyes conveyed more than his words. We had emotionally crossed a boundary already. One rain-soaked Saturday, I canceled my appointment, telling the receptionist I required time to reflect. The following morning, there was a knock at my door. I opened it to find Gordon standing there, clutching a coffee cup and a brown paper bag. "I remembered you like banana nut muffins," he said. He sat with me at the kitchen table, surrounded by my fading curtains and dusty books. We didn't discuss massages. We talked about life. He shared with me his feelings of disconnection towards people his age, the lessons from his parents' troubled marriage, and then revealed something that left me unprepared. "Melinda," he confided, "you are the first person who truly listens to me, making me feel significant." Upon breakdown, it wasn't out of love for him, not yet, but it was a realization of a deep craving for such attention, such presence. I wasn't misguided. I understood the judgment from afar. A woman in her 50s and a man in his 20s would be deemed desperate and embarrassing by onlookers. My daughter Rachel, an adult, had already expressed concern over my frequent spa visits, but I continued to see him outside the spa. Secluded spots, coffee shops, long walks. Nothing improper ever happened, yet it always felt perilous. Then one night, returning from grocery shopping, I found something that made me queasy. Rachel was in my house, holding a photo I had overlooked, one I hadn't removed. A snapshot showed Gordon in my kitchen, grinning while brandishing a spatula as if it were his domain, causing her complexion to flush. Her voice became hushed and venomous. Could this be what I fear? I assured her it was merely a friend, just someone who listened. She remained unconvinced. She left angrily, calling me pitiful in her wake. The embarrassment washed over me like a chill, so I terminated our relationship. The following day, I informed Gordon that I could no longer meet him, claiming it was a blunder, and that I had mixed gratitude for affection. He made no objection. Instead, he stated, "If this is what you require, I respect your decision." Then he added, "However, my feelings for you will not cease." I was at a loss as to how to respond, so I took no action. 3 weeks later, there were no phone calls or messages. I returned to my former therapist. He was elderly, polite, and reserved. The room lacked music, warmth, and banana nut muffins. On a tranquil Sunday morning, I unlocked my front door to fetch the newspaper. There he was on one knee, presenting a small item inside a black box. My breath escaped me. The lost wedding ring, the one believed misplaced during a move post-divorce, was now in his hands, a possession he had concealed. Overwhelmed, I could hardly voice my responses. He extended my old wedding ring, as if it were a holy relic, disregarding its past association with a man who had shattered me. Questions swarmed, yet none escaped my lips. Instead, I hastily uttered a single affirmative word. "Yes." With deftness, he placed the ring on my finger, suggesting it had forever belonged there, as if our tale had been scripted eons ago. Moments passed where tears should have fallen or screams echoed, but all that ensued was my trembling in the doorway. That night, I lay awake in bed, my gaze fixed upon the ceiling. My heart raced, not from happiness, but from a subconscious foreboding. A caution. A voice in my gut whispered, "You're not being saved, you're being rewritten." The following weeks were a haze of emotions and bewilderment. I wore the ring in secret, apprehensive of the world and its judgment. Rachel discovered it 2 days later. She arrived at my house with red-rimmed eyes, holding a printed screenshot from Gordon's Instagram account, depicting him smiling with a woman strikingly similar to me, wealthier and less warm. There was another older woman, another client, from 4 years ago. "Do you think this is love, Mom?" she asked, her voice shaking. "This is his pattern. You're not the first." I felt my stomach knot up. That very night, I confronted Gordon. His expression remained unchanged. He stayed composed, almost too much so. "Yes," he admitted. "Her name was Eleanor. She had assisted me during a difficult period. However, it had ended. I never lied about that to you." "But you didn't tell me either," I countered, holding back tears. "You made me feel special." "You are special," he said, moving closer. "You are simply not flawless." He didn't speak the words, but it was in his tone, as if I should just accept his decision, as if my fragility made me malleable. That night, I understood that Gordon never truly desired me. He craved the void I filled, the quietude I offered, the admiration. He sought someone who would never contest the illusion he crafted in his mind. Unknowingly, I had been ensnared. I removed the ring that evening, placing it next to the uneaten banana nut muffin he had brought me earlier that morning. I dialed my daughter then, sharing with her every error, every feeling. She was quiet but stayed on the line until my tears ceased. It was sufficient. Now after months, I pass by the spa each Saturday. Occasionally, I spot Gordon through the window, smiling, charming, manipulating another's pain as he had mine. I do not harbor hatred or pity for him. Instead, I comprehend him now. People such as Gordon are attracted to the fissures in others. They don't mend you. They inhabit you. Until you forget the person you were prior to their arrival. I consented because I was solitary. Yet, I departed because I was ultimately weary of being vacant. If you're watching this and you have ever been in a position where affection seemed more like salvation than an option, I hope my narrative resonates with you. You are not damaged. You are not past your prime. And you do not require being someone's project to be deserving of love. Thank you so much for listening to my story. Please express your thoughts in the comments below. Would you have agreed in my situation? If this narrative had an impact on you, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Your support is essential and keeps these narratives thriving. Until next time, take care of your heart. Nobody else will do it for you.